the key to probably longevity wise and really breaking through with this shit is really coming up with the artists. Like, you're coming up with people like Darky, Dillinger, and the whole rest of Spider Gang. Would you say that that's really like a big step to kind of differentiating yourself from just a regular internet producer?
Definitely. Because like for like I said, like YouTube, you can make a living off YouTube. But like, there also are lots of big producers on YouTube that I've noticed who like make tutorial videos, or just guys who just make beats and film themselves doing it, who will have like hundreds of thousands of subs and shit. But then when you actually hear what's going on in the rap world, like they're not getting placements and shit. Because yeah, what you're saying is true. It's like coming up with an artist, even if you're not getting paid, is actually like much more beneficial to like your business side and also just like your brand. Because like, yeah, if I was working with someone like Darky, then I would just be a YouTube producer. But it's like working with someone like Darky, you actually have somebody who's like really good hopping on your beats and then taking those beats and giving them like much more like depth and like layers to them. Because like a beat on YouTube is just a beat on YouTube. But when you have a really good artist hit that beat, that then becomes a song. And then it becomes like a whole new thing that can be shared much more easily. So it's like, yeah, like having, if you're a new producer, yeah, like I think I saw Icy Twat tweeted one time, he was like, if you're an artist, like you deserve to have like one core producer that you just work with. Like, and I agree. Like I think if you're a rapper or you're a producer, you deserve to have one person at the opposite end to just work with and come up with, because like that's ultimately how you're gonna make progress.
Yeah, you guys kind of like teaming up, making progress together.
Yeah, because like I said, you can have hundreds of thousands of subs on YouTube, making beats for videos, and people really like your beats. But those guys are not the guys you're hearing on the radio. Those guys are not the guys that you're hearing on SoundCloud.
You're seeing in the interviews.
You're seeing them on YouTube. You're seeing them in their videos, like in their making beats. Yeah. And that's cool. Like, they can do their thing. But it's like if your goal is like to become a big producer, and your goal, you want to make really good music and like make a career in music, you're gonna need some help.
And that's all branding.
Yeah, you're gonna need some help for sure.
Like, you're branding yourself with Darky, like the whole Spider Gang, and I'm assuming that the Wendigo, is that kind of like your logo type of deal?
Yeah, this is just how Darky just draws me. Like, it's just like, so I think I guess the first time I got drawn was we made a song called Spirits, like a bit over a year ago. Me, Darky, this guy Stan Lee, and a guy Isaiah Malik, and we just made that song. And on the cover, Darky just like drew me as this character, and then just kind of stuck. And like just like with Darky's character, Darky, like all the heads Darky works with just like have characters, because he has his little universe. So yeah, like for me, just being like a big part of that universe, actually that kind of is my logo at this point. Sure.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to like branding again. You're branding yourself, that people have a visual for what Wendigo is. People have a specific sound for what Wendigo is. Works with these specific artists. You're branding yourself to take yourself to the next level as a producer, as to being someone just like a YouTube beat maker, which is cool. You can make some money doing it, and there's some great ones. But then you have people like Sony Digital, Cash Money, AP, C-Note, Zaytoven, you know what I mean? People who have murder beats at this point. People who have Metro Boomin is probably the biggest one out right now. Goddamn, like who are a lot of these producers are bigger than artists. Because of their branding. Like, they branded themselves to become bigger than just your run of the mill regular producer, and in that sense, that opens up so many more opportunities for you. You can do more than just YouTube beats because you're Wendigo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not just you're not the Wendigo the YouTube producer.
Yeah, exactly.
You're Wendigo the beat maker. You're Wendigo.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to do what you're saying.
You know what I mean? You branded yourself and you networked yourself correctly, and I think that's the key that a lot of producers are missing. They're just kind of, like you said, sitting in their room, posting videos of themselves making beats and wondering why it's not going nowhere. They're not branding themselves correctly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of that comes down to even like outside of making beats, because there's also like definitely within, just like I came from the rock world, and in the rock world, like there's stigmas about who plays what. Like if you're the singer, you're getting all the pussy. If you're the guitar player, you're also probably getting a lot of the pussy. But like if you're the drummer or the bass player, you're not getting too much pussy. So it's like you know, within every like genre, there's roles and shit, and those all have like little stigmas. So it's like within rap, what I tend to notice is like rappers are oftentimes way more like hustlers. Like rappers actually go out and they put on like an image, and you know they're characters. Like a lot of the biggest rappers right now are big, not just because of like their music, but like also just their personality and like who people like them. Like people like Kanye or Drake or Jay-Z. Like those guys are all talented, but they also all know how to go out and like just get people to fuck with them because they just put on whatever they put on, or they just are however they are.
Who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
so it's
characters.
like, exactly. So it's like if you're, you know, something like Metro
it's like pro
Boomin,
wrestling.
Yeah, so it's great. It's like it's just like with production, there's so many producers who just like sit or just like shy. Like, they just make their beats and they
Introverts.
They don't take
most definitely.
you know, they don't. Yeah, like even beyond that, not even just like introverts. They're just like they're shy of like I think a lot of producers just like don't think they could like because rap has oftentimes like not really been producer focused. Even though when it first started out, it was producer focused. Like people just I don't know. There's like this weird thing where producers are just like they're just shy like in their room like making the beats, and then like you know like when their artists they're producing for on stage, they're just like not there. So that's why you have heads like Murdo or like Metro Boomin or like Kenny Beats right now. They're really big because Kenny Beats, I think Kenny is actually like a really good example, like one of the best examples right now is because that dude, he makes good beats, but besides making good beats, he has a YouTube show. He goes on like he talks on his Instagram live all the time. Like he's just like very vocal in the community, and even if you don't like agree with what he's saying or what he's doing, like you're just gonna hear his voice like way more than someone like you know. Like Frank Dukes, who's a guy who like has produced some of the biggest songs like that have come out in the past like 5 years, but no one knows who he is because he's just like really quiet. So it's like, yeah, like just being like just more like uncomfortable, like being allowed to like allow yourself to just like go out of your comfort zone and just like go to shows, go on like you know interviews, just do shit like that. If you're a producer, like that's also like a huge part of how you brand yourself.
It's all networking.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like,
that's half
like,
the game.
Yeah, that's how people become like famous. Is because you can have your talents and your skills. But if people can't relate to what you're doing, you're just gonna like be a virtuoso who's like never gets anywhere. That's why you see heads like with like guitar playing, for instance. You'll find people who are like insanely good at guitar. Like where I'm from, like out in the woods. You'll go be in Woodstock. You'll just drive down some random road, like in the middle of the woods, and you'll just like hear the most beautiful, just shredding, just the most crazy solo coming out of some guy's house. And like as cool as that is, that dude has a much lower chance of getting successful because they're not going to go out of their house. They're just in their house playing really good. Like so, and also, just because you're really good doesn't make you relatable. Like there are lots of artists like you know within like with the rock world, like guys like Steve Vai and shit who are undeniably some of like the best guitar players ever, but who won't get considered the best guitar players ever because heads like Jimmy and Eddie Van Halen were way more in your face about it. That's just a part of music. Like that's a part of just like entertainment business even is like you have to also be a face people to relate to and enjoy. Like you're basically like a lot of people when you find like people get attached to artists, it's not just because the music's so great, it's because like you feel like you know them. Like especially with a lot of rappers, like a lot of rappers that like have had fan bases that become like insane like extra little people like well when they die you know they, like the fans are just like completely distraught, and that's not just because they were making great music, it's also because those people were like voices for those like for the fans. They like represented what the fans were about.
Yeah, they really went to the next level and just really connected with them.
Mm-hmm.